Hello, just Eurorix here, back for another review, and this is set number 70138. It is 78 pieces, but it is called Web Dash, and this is a LEGO Legends of Chima 2014 Speedorz set, and it is recommended for ages 7 to 14. It has one minifigure. It retails for $13 in the United States. This is, of course, part of the Spring Rave, thus it retails for $13 in the United States, like I said, and not $15 like last year's. So now let's take a look at the packaging. So here's the packaging for the set. You can see it's the new packaging, which I really do like. Makes it easy to open because it's just sealed by some tape, which you could cut, and then you just open it with these flaps right here. This is really great. And then here's the back. There's an instruction booklet which has some advertisements, but they're really just the ones we've seen. This one actually lacks the set advertisement that's seen in a few of the other Speedorz sets for this wave. They also have the minifigure poster, and then they have the little app advertisement. Now let's take a look at the cards. So here are the playing cards. You can see there's one for Speedorz, Swift Sting, Whipon, Nightcrawler 6, and Toxic Staffic. They all have weird names, but they have some nice artwork like always with these cards. So here's the minifigure of the set. It's Speedorz, and he is kind of an interesting minifigure. He is part of the Spider Tribe, and I don't know. I don't really like how he looks, but I do admire how they molded this, and you can see all the little detail there. They have multiple colorings. It's a very, very kind of detailed mold. So I can't really get mad at it for that. I just don't really like how it looks, but I can see why other people like it because it is a very detailed mold. And you can see there's just all these different colors. There's that kind of lightish brown right there, the dark brown all over the little mask or whatever, and these little white teeth parts, and then there's white inside, and orange little dots all around. So it is extremely detailed with all this different molding colors and stuff like that, and just different textures and stuff like that on the back. So that is really cool. I do really like that. And if you get past that, you can see his head right there, his head printing, and he has no back facial printing, which is really kind of disappointing. The same problem comes with Blista, but he also has some nice back torso printing and some nice back torso printing right there. It's actually the same spider face they use for all the other spiders, which is really kind of disappointing. And he has some very nice leg printing, which you can see with this little kind of, I guess you could say, leafy color cover up right there, and some little detail on his feet. And that's really it for the minifigure. He does come with two weapons, which one of the weapons is right here. I guess it's like a wand or something like that. And he has this little blaster right here, which, yeah, these aren't really detailed, but I think the minifigure is really detailed, which kind of makes up for the crappy weapons. Okay, so here's the Speedorz, and you do get a ripcord in this green color, which isn't exclusive to the set. But the actual Speedorz itself does have some exclusive printing. You can see with that printing on the front right there, and it is in this exclusive lime color. But other than that, it's the same mold that we have seen for the Scorpions, and you can see there's these attachments right here, as the same with the Scorpion mold, and you can see they just kind of attach like that to these little side hinges right here, and you just kind of clip them on like that. And of course, it's really not that. I don't really like the lime color. I don't know why. It just doesn't really mend well for me. But the way you fit the minifigures on here is you just kind of take it off like this. You know, you take off the little Speedorz crown, as I call it sometimes, and you stick the minifigure on there. In this case, Speedorz, and you just put them sitting like that, and then you put the crown back on, and you can see it fits all well and everything like that. So that's really it. You can see the front right there, side, and the bottom, and the top. And he fits on there quite well. And now onto the actual build itself. Okay, so here are the builds of the set. You get these three little separate web sections, but before we touch on that, you also do get these 6 Chi crystals right here, which come in all the $13 Chima sets, or $15 Chima Speedorz sets, 13 to 15, you know, from last year and this year. But for all three of the sections, the first one we'll take a look at is this section right here, which is actually on this little hinge part, which gives it very limited movement, but it's really just for the display to make it kind of look like an out of the ordinary little web, just to give some variation. But the web piece itself in that color isn't too common in at least cheaper sets, which it comes in, the cheapest set it comes in is this set, and you do get 3 in the set, which is pretty cool. But the only other cheap set it comes in is a Doc Ock Truck Ambush from Spider-Man this year, and the Mirkwood Spider set, which is $30. So that's $20 and $30 respectively, and then this one's $13. So yeah, there's not really much to do there. You could move it with all of these because they're all on these little hinge parts right here. You can move it up and down like that on these clips, but they kind of act like a hinge. And this one's particularly on a hinge piece right here because it moves up and down because it's on, you know, that little typical hinge piece we see. But since it's on the plate, it barely gets any movement. And then for this little wedge piece on the bottom in this color, it actually doesn't come in a lot of cheaper sets either. I know it comes in Ariel's Magical Treasures, which is a cheap set, same price as this in the United States. But it does come in some more, I guess you could say, expensive sets than this. So it is nice to get that in a cheaper set, but even then it's not that rare in this color. So that's it for this little section. And there's this little section which comes with a vine. Not really too special if you ask me, just because it has a vine. It doesn't really make it anything more special. It does come with the same piece that right there and this piece right here, which are two rare pieces. Like I said, you do get 3 of them for each 3 of the sections. And that's really it for that. Nothing too special there. And then there's this one right here, which kind of adds a little bit of something that we would see in the Mirkwood Spider set, because that set had those kind of dark tree branches or black tree branches. But this isn't too special. I mean, it's really just some like kind of black branches right here, or kind of like a dead black tree, and then you get some of this clear trans lime green, I believe it is. So yeah, it's not too special. You do get this little web right here, like I said, which is rare, and then you get this little wedge. But again, not a very special build. Not too interesting. I guess it's nice to add some variation with a tree one, but maybe if they made this a little bit of a more elaborate tree, it would have been more interesting. But the game for the Speedorz set is that you got to kind of knock over all these webs. So it's one of those where you just got to knock over them. Like if it was a really kind of interesting game or a new concept or something that we've seen, I probably would have given this a better rating, because you guys will see what I rate it. But I mean, we've seen so many of these where you got to knock over an item or an object or whatever. So let's give it a spin. Of course, you put the little ripcord in there, you pull it. So there you go. I would win because I got 3. And let me just try another one. You could kind of position them the way you want to make them harder for your opponent or whatever. So let me see. Because I position it like this, I'm not going to be able to get all 3, I think. Wow, I got all 3. That was magical. Maybe it's because the back right here is kind of sloped up. But yeah, not really that interesting of a game and not an interesting build. So now on to the final verdict. Overall, this set is, oh gosh, this is probably worse than the Bat Speedorz set. The minifigure himself, while he is very well made and he does have some very nice printing and a very nice mold, like I liked how it's molded. I don't like how it looks, but it has so much intricate detail, so I do have to respect that for them having that. He's not really that rare at all. Like kind of like how we had Blista. Blista came in that $60 set, which was Lavartus's Outland base. You know, that's kind of understandable, I guess. I mean, it was a cheaper way to get him. He comes in the same set, but the difference with him is he also comes in another set, which is Spiritus's Spider Stalker. Yeah, and that's $25. And then he also comes in another set, which is a Polybag. So this dude is not rare at all. He's probably the most common of the Spider minifigures. So that's definitely a downfall on this. The Speedorz itself is exclusive, which is pretty cool. I don't really like this Speedorz how it looks, but I understand that it's a pretty cool value that it's exclusive. And it doesn't look too bad on the printing. It's just, I don't know, I don't like the lime green kind of color. But the actual pieces in this set, there's a few rare pieces. Like there's these little webs, which those webs in that color don't come in a lot of cheaper sets. Like I know Attack on Mirkwood Spiders had this, and that $20 Spider-Man set this year has it too. So I guess getting 3 of them isn't bad because it is kind of a rare piece. And these little wedge pieces right here in this color, they don't come in a lot of cheap sets either. I'm trying to think. I know Ariel's Magical Treasure has it, but that's like really the only cheap set. There's some other sets, but they're much more expensive. And it's a much newer color for this little piece right here, this wedge piece. But that's really it for the rare pieces. There's that Speedorz, the little webs, and then there's the wedge pieces in that color, and the webs in that color, I forgot to say. So yeah, it's really lacking. The build itself isn't really too special, and the game itself isn't too special either. I'm going to have to go low on this one too, but I would give this one a D. I do not really recommend it at all. It's 78 pieces for $13, and there's not really anything too special about it. I guess if you collect all the Speedorz like me, you got to get this because the Speedorz is exclusive. Like I said, it does have nice printing, but just Spiritus is a pretty common minifigure. The pieces in here, there's not really any amazing rare pieces. Like I said, the webs, they come in a few sets, and the wedge comes in a few sets. They're not like only come in 2 sets or whatever. They come in a few sets. It's just this is a very cheap way to get them. Even with the wedge piece in that color, it comes in Ariel's Magical Treasure, so it's not even like the cheapest way to get it. So that's kind of how I feel about this set. It's really a very disappointing set. So it is a D for me. And that's really it for the Speedorz review, and I will see you guys later. Bye.